No, no, no.
What?
No, 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 don't do that!
Alright guys, this one's going to be Tonight of You today, this one's going to be Tonight of You for Widow's Bay, this one's going to be doing my double finale review. We're going to be reviewing the last 2 episodes of Widow's Bay Season 1. Folks, we are officially caught up on Widow's Bay. I am very happy to say that. Thank you everybody for recommending the show to me. Thank you everybody that came out and said, Dan, you gotta watch Widow's Bay, you gotta check it out, you know what I mean? We've done 2 episodes every week. This week we've kind of upped the ante a little bit. We're gonna do an extra 2 episodes here to cap everything off, and that is it for Widow's Bay. So, we are reviewing episode 9, Emergency Shelter, and episode 10. We hope you enjoyed your time. Yes, I did. So, let's get into it. Episode 9. So, the penultimate episode is actually the shortest episode of the season. This is not going to be a very long recap. Basically, this episode kind of focuses on this tornado that is going on, this big, storm that is turning into a tornado, basically, that could, really damage the town. And you have some of the members, of course, have to kind of take a emergency shelter, which is the name of the episode, obviously. And the episode kind of, has a few sequences that I really liked. Like, you have a sequence where Tom is kind of, messing up this painting and stuff like that, and Patricia is, kind of trying to stop him. There's also a bit of a cold open to this episode where we actually see what happened to Sarah and the kids back in 1702. And we see that only one of the kids managed to survive, obviously, which we knew that, but obviously they kind of, clarify that a little bit more. Now, we get a little bit of information in this one about Ruth, the old lady that works in the sheriff's department. It sounds like she does have some connections to kind of what went wrong in this town, so now they're kind of contemplating the idea that they may have to actually deal with Ruth one-on-one, but they don't know necessarily how to go about it, and Wick and Tom are all like, oh yeah, let's do it, and then Patricia's kind of more like, no, I don't think that's, such a great idea. So while that goes on, you've also got the sheriff and his wife, obviously. Now, her baby's kind of getting close, and it looks like she may have to have the baby, like, literally coming up here. So they're kind of teasing that idea. You got their stuff going on. He's no longer really the sheriff. He's kind of more so just just a civilian at this point, I guess. So we kind of see a little bit of that as well, too. And then again, Tom making that decision to go and do, the hard decision and take out Ruth. And you kind of leave the episode in a bit of a lingering spot where you don't know necessarily, if that's going to happen. So it did its job as a build-up episode. And it very much kind of built up that tension for the finale very well. So, though it was a short episode, it was definitely very quick. I liked it. I had no, thing to complain about. It was enjoyable for what it was. It built up the finale very well. I like the tornado concept. I like the idea. I like how you see Todd just freaking flying up in the air. I was like, okay. So, yeah. No, I mean, the thing is about this show, and the thing I like about it is that it's equally as intense as it is hilarious. And that's really the charm, I think, of Widow's Bay, is that it's equally as funny as it is intense. You know what I mean? So I think they've done all that stuff very well, mixing those themes very well. It works very well. So I'm going to go a 10 out of 10 for this episode. I loved it. I honestly had no complaints about it. And overall, I think they did a damn good job building up the finale. Now, the finale, episode 10, we hope you enjoyed your stay, or your time is what it's called. Now, my God, man, this one was screwed up. I was just watching this episode all the way through, watching Tom go to Ruth's house, and he's talking with her, and she's all nice to him, and she's talking about her family and everything, and even asks her, about, sacrificing some. There's a big theme in this episode, about, sacrificing some so the rest can live, And, well, you have Evan in this one, Tom's son, that is kind of, in this, shelter, right, while the storm's going on. And he ends up kind of going off with the teenagers, they're being teenagers, they're looking into some old shit. And he ends up finding a tape of an old mayor where this guy basically talks about how they had to sacrifice some, so the rest can live. And he finds out about this in a pretty intense moment where, you reveal all this. You've got a guy that comes down there, catches them, and essentially, Evan tries to stop, whatever's about to happen. But, he ends up kind of getting locked in. So, you get that stuff mixed in with a few moments where you have Tom that's talking with Ruth, and then, as well, the sheriff, his wife, is mid contractions or whatever, and she's from the looks of it, it's not going to go well. She's not going to be able to have this kid. It's, you know, something's going to fail. So shit gets pretty darn intense pretty darn quickly. Patricia is trying to kind of calm down the town. She's trying to kind of keep things, you know, as calm as they possibly can be, but shit just gets worse ultimately. And then next thing you know, you have Ruth that ends up getting her drink poisoned by Tom. Tom ends up going through with it. So she ends up going down, but not before the sheriff shows up and asks, you know, of course, what the hell just happened, you know, with Tom and Ruth, and he accidentally shoots Ruth instead. So she ends up going down. Now, obviously, she was poisoned regardless, so that, you know, it wasn't going to change anything, but the confrontation between the two of them was really intense, and I was kind of wondering, I was like, are we going to kill the sheriff off? Obviously, that didn't happen, but it was pretty insane, man. And then, obviously, they end up kind of, you know, the storm ends up passing. Ruth is down. She does not end up dying, though. We get that kind of reveal near the end that what he poisoned her with didn't actually kill her. It just put her, like, seriously, like, you know, in, like, a kind of just drugged state. And, you know, she's down, obviously, but she's not dead. She's still moving at the very end. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? So, yeah, essentially, that goes down. The storm ends. And then you have kind of the rest of them that kind of are there. And then at the very end of the episode, Tom finds out that they're going to have to sacrifice 8 people in order for this thing to kind of be set aside. So there's always something, you know, and then that kind of gives you that little mindset at the end of like, okay, obviously there's a second season because they're not going to be able to just stop. This town is still haunted. It's still coming after them. They're talking about sacrificing and shit, but it's not ultimately the end. It's not ultimately over, and Tom kind of realizes that at the end. This very nice shot of him kind of looking out into the water at the end as he takes off. So, in other words, the show is too damn good not to do another season, right? We got to see more of what this place does. We got to see more of kind of what happens. You know, I kind of like that, though, because they kind of went the safe route, you know, at the end, where you could end this show here. You could. I mean, there would be a lot of mysteries. There'd be a lot of stuff up in the air, but it's not like the worst way for it to end. You know, you could kind of just say things, you know, calm down, and they just went back to normal. But obviously, we know there's a second season coming. So we will definitely be covering season 2. As for this finale, I'm going to give this one a perfect 10 out of 10. Honestly, guys, it's a perfect 10. I genuinely think this series is a banger. I really do. If I had to kind of look back on it, I would say my favorite episode is probably episodes 3, 4, and then I'd probably say 8, and then maybe 10. Yeah, those are probably my favorite ones. Those ones are very big highlights. Least favorites are probably 5 and 6. 6 is pretty good. It was, you know, a little bit slower, but it was a good backstory. You know, I did like it. 5 is the only episode I'll actually sit there and tell you I think is very flawed. Like, it's not a bad episode, but the episode 5 is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit flawed. Overall, this season, when I came out of it, when I kind of looked at it overall, I would think right now my rating is for season 1 of Widow's Bay, I'm going to go an 8.5. I liked it a lot. Is it a, you know, peak flawless series? Does it demolish, you know, shows like From, you know, like people were saying? I wouldn't say it does. No, I don't think I felt that kind of level of connection to it, but I am very invested, and I think this show really does have some interesting things to it. I think it's got some great scares, some great comedy. Tom, Patricia, Wick, they're very likable characters. They're very charming characters in their own way, and I think they very much lead the show well. So overall, I'd recommend it. It's a good show. Is it a mind-blowing show? Not necessarily, but it's a really great show, and I think in general they did a good job with it. So I'm going to go 8.5. It's pretty damn good. I'd recommend checking it out, and if you're a fan of horror or you're a fan of, you know, creepypastas or mystery boxes or different things like that, especially if you like shows like Lost or From or stuff like that, or like Haunting a Hill House, you know what I mean, stuff like that, this show will definitely be for you. So yeah, we will be here for season 2 whenever it comes out. I don't know when it comes out, but we will be here, episode 1, right here, and discussing it as it releases. That's the type of loyalty I have to this show. It's that quality to where I'm like, yeah, when season 2 releases, we will be here to cover it. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments down below. Thank y'all for the recommendation, of course, and if you have any other shows to recommend me, let me know. I have a few other ones that I'm going to be watching. I've had a few recommendations from y'all, so I'm going to be getting on to the next one here. But thank y'all for watching. If you're new to the channel, you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos very soon. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.